Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Collector Stream YouTube channel. Hope you guys are all doing very well today. I'm doing great. Today it's a beautiful day in Japan, and currently I'm on a work trip and presently in Nagoya. And yesterday I went out to the card shops and tried to look for some deals for tag team. And I'll include some video footage that I have taken for my trip. And then I was trying to go on a spending spree. Basically, the original idea was to look at some of the Japanese Sun and Moon tag team cards that I can inspect the raw condition and try to grade it and send it to PSA in the Tokyo headquarters, and then try to see if I can turn a profit by buying the raws and then convert it and hopefully getting like a PSA 10. And yeah, it's a sort of a risky strategy because if you don't score a 10, you basically lose money. And then the alternate way to buy these cards is to hold and sit on them for a little while. And as you have followed the English Sun and Moon recently, they have all risen up a lot in value, right? So my intention was to either buy the raws and just sit on them for a year or two and then see if it'll still continue to go up, or just buy them raw and then ship them to PSA and then hopefully it grades at PSA 10 and then I can start selling them and making some money. So that was the idea, and I had a look at about 4 to 5 card shops in the Ozu region within the Nagoya. It's about a 10-minute train ride from Kanayama Station, if you guys have been to Nagoya. And it's it's a cluster of shops in that Ozu old shopping district. So I can maybe do like a link on Google Maps to show you guys where it is located exactly. But that was kind of the day that I intended. But then I ventured off into a really interesting shop that sold all kinds of products. English products that they had a little bit. They had Japanese sealed, and then they also have PSA 10, which is actually quite rare to find in Japan. I know like Sneaker Dunk in Akihabara Station, they have tons of PSA 10 slabs, and they even have the tax-free benefit for international shoppers. But I was surprised to find a shop with PSA 10 and for sale, and then I actually ended up spending a lot more than I wanted, because what I have actually purchased yesterday was a Poncho Pikachu, and then this is gonna be my second Poncho Pikachu, and it's a very beautiful Rayquaza version. And yeah, it's just very beautiful, and I couldn't believe the price that I paid for it. Maybe later on, once the channel hits 1,000 subscribers, I will tell you guys a little bit more detail on how I came across this card, and like what the price that I paid for it. But I got a really good deal on this Poncho, and I actually had to go to the 7-Eleven next door, and then I have to call my bank in Hong Kong to get them approved to withdraw such a large amount of cash to pay for this card. But in the end, I think it's worth it because the price on eBay now for these ponchos are hitting $10,000, and then I got this card for like a 30-40% discount compared to the outside of Japan. So this was a very good cop for me, and then I can't wait to bring this back to Hong Kong. And yeah, so overall it was a very successful shopping session in Nagoya. Now, moving on to some housekeeping items. So like I said before, the channel is now getting very close to 1,000 subs, and as promised, we'll be giving out one subs or one slab, or maybe I can do multiple slabs, depending on what I can find in my collection. But just for a big thank you for sticking to the channel since day one, we will be doing a lucky spin to 1 or potential maybe 3 viewers will have the chance to win a slab for yourself. So if you guys haven't hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon, I highly recommend that you guys do, so you guys can follow long-term investing in the Pokemon hobby. But let's get to the meat and potatoes now of this video, and I want to talk about what are you guys going to be doing in the next 12 months. Like, because for me, I'm still getting my hands on some of these grails, but I also want to talk about how extremely expensive these PSA 10 slabs are getting now, and it's outside the normal boundary of most collectors. So this video, I want to kind of dissect and talk about, what can you do if you only have a lesser amount of money, but you still want to see your investment grow. So let's get right into it. And then I got my, talking point notes as always, right up here. So yeah, let's just jump right in. So have you guys ever asked yourself, what are you guys doing to your portfolio in the next 12 months? Maybe take a couple of minutes to think about, what do you guys presently have? Are you guys invested mostly in sealed products right now? Or do you guys have, a lot of raw in your binder? Or are you guys have some PSA 10 slabs? And where do you guys want to go from there? Are you guys going to do any sort of pivot, like going from sealed products? Are you guys going to move to PSA 10, or vice versa? You guys want to stop collecting the PSA 10 and then start getting into the sealed products? So for me personally, I ask that question to myself all the time. And I think the number one determining factor on how I want to proceed, not judging the money aspect, is what do I seriously like and enjoy looking at? Like going back to these ponchos, like how much am I willing to pay to have this under my personal collection? And can I live with just getting a PSA 9 copy, or can I live with having a raw copy in my binder? And let's use this as an example, like why I will not go for a PSA 9 and a raw copy. Let's look at that, because for me, there is a very high opportunity cost when it comes to investing. When I'm dumping $5,000 or I'm dumping $10,000 into one single product, that product has to work for me. Because if I'm just getting a raw copy, what is this raw copy going for right now? Maybe 2 Gs, 3 Gs, 4 Gs. Hopefully not 4 Gs, as that's very, very expensive. So once you have invested that amount of money into a single product and it sits into your binder, it is doing absolutely nothing for you unless you can get some immense enjoyment from looking at the card. And then if I have to ask myself honestly, when I see the raw card in a binder, yes, I do love the artwork, but then hey, that money can go so much farther for me if you choose to invest it into another instrument. So you can put it into stocks. You can, put it into a time deposit that guarantees you maybe 3% if you do a time deposit in Hong Kong right now. If you put it into a dividend-paying stocks, it'll give you like 5, 6, 7%. I don't know about your investing area, like your investment region might not have stocks that provides that amount of dividends. But then in Hong Kong, 7% is not unreasonable. So you have to ask yourself, like if you put 10,000 into a stock that pays you 7%, that is $700 year-on-year growth, right? And then you can snowball it. You can reinvest that $700 back, that 7% back into your original capital, right? And then it becomes 10,700 after 12 months, and then it will keep on going, and it'll give you more and more dividend, right? So you really have to ask yourself, like, do I see a card like this one? Is it going to go up more than 5 to 10%? And then is it worthwhile for me to do so? And for me, like I'm holding this, the proof is in the pudding. I'm holding this card in my hand right now is because I believe when Pokemon hits 30th anniversary next year, and with the demand and liquidity of a Poncho, I am happy to put that amount of money, because I know I have methods to get the money out. And also I am not entering at 10,000, right? Like I'm entering at, maybe if you're entering at like 6,000, 7,000, if some person are selling it very, very cheaply at a car show, and you got a splendid deal, then that's what we are trying to chase in this channel, in this investment discussion channel. Recently, I saw a video of a car show, and then a poor vendor sold his PSA 10 Latios Lovebirds for $5,800. And yeah, like he got the numbers flipped. He sold it for 5,800, but it's actually 8,500 on the market, right? So then, like, if you can get that kind of deals, and those deals are everywhere, if you are willing to look hard enough. I have friends in Singapore that's always like picking up sweet deals, or they're able to sell their bulk for 500 Singapore dollars for a sizable amount of bulk. So you can sell that bulk and then use the 500. Now you have $500 to play with, right? What can you do with it? $500, you can get maybe 2 booster boxes of Destined Rivals. You can, load up on, boxes of Surging Sparks. You can maybe get into the Black Bolt and White Flare ETBs, or you can invest in one meaningful PSA 10 slab from the Sword and Shield alternate art selection, maybe top up a little bit more. You can maybe get the Chilling Reign Blaziken V Max, right? So that, or you can get like a Brilliant Star Charizard V for at around that amount of money, right? So basically, you've turned something that is not desirable for the majority of the public, and then you have rolled it into a very, very liquid product in the form of a PSA 10 slab. So that's like a very viable investing strategy that you can do. So moving on to the talking point, like I'm gonna classify some plays that I personally consider to be very, from a very, very risky perspective to a less and less risky perspective, right? So starting on with the risky buys, and also requires a lot of capital, is obviously, the Munch set, the Ponchos, what else? The really, really more obscure Japanese niche slabs that have potentially very, very high upside, but then at the same time, the opportunity cost of carrying these is immense. So you really gotta be careful, and you gotta ask yourself, how long are you guys willing to hold on to this product, and how much utility and how much joy is it giving you? Like, are you happy to just put it, like maybe put it here on a stand and then just look at it all day on weeks on end, and then that'll keep you satisfied, and that is worth the money for you? Then if so be it. Then you can just afford to do, because I see on socials there are people with like 10 copies of they're okay to do that, and they're okay to sit on it, but for them, they entered it when they were $1,000, right? Not $10,000, right? So yeah, that's like, for me, at the top right now is the riskiest plays right now is perhaps going into these Ponchos, because everything is at the all-time high. Yeah, and even though I do have those cards right now, I still have to be the voice of reason and say that they are $10,000 to $15,000 for a Mario Pikachu right now. Do you want to drop that amount of money into the hobby? And if you are dropping that amount of money into the hobby already, obviously you are a professional. You have money saved, you have money to blow, because like normal people, they don't really blow that much into a hobby, unless you're like a NBA rookie card collector. Then you can be dropping like $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 on a Michael Jordan card, or an autographed Kobe Bryant card, or dropping money on like a LeBron rookie or a Luka Doncic rookie, those kind of stuff, right? So yeah, like in that sense, Pokemon is still a very, very high potential vehicle, in my opinion, compared to the NBA rookie cards. Yeah, because those are like way above what we're playing with. We're playing with like a few $100 US to a couple thousand US, which is starting to be getting high stake. And then if you could talk about the first edition vintage, like the first edition Charizard, or a PSA 10 Venusaur, or a PSA 10 Blastoise first edition, those stuff are becoming more and more high stake. But in the grand scheme of things, no, I do not think Pokemon is very, very high end right now, but it can be due to the immense popularity. And you see teenagers now, they're selling and transacting in PSA 10 slabs, which is a revolution compared to what we have started, when we were kids, and then we were just, holding onto our binder, and then we have our, little Pikachu, and then we have our base set Bulbasaur, and our base set, like Onyx and that kind of stuff, right? Those stuff are like, juvenile stuff. Those were not investable at all. They were not commodity. They were just simple playthings, right? But then as we age, these products that hold so dearly in our memory are now becoming investable alternative to our main investment portfolio, right? So it's really cool to see it as well, because like when I was a kid, I vividly remember talking to my best friend Albert back in Toronto, and I said, "Hey Albert, I'm going to leave my Pokemon binder to my son and to my grandson." And I was 10 years old, and then I already had I want to say intuition, but then I already had the belief that I want to keep this card as a 10-year-old, and I want to leave it to my grandson. Like think about that for a second. That's the power of Pokemon. Nothing back then gave me that sort of firm hold in my mind that I want to keep this card for a long period of time. I remember back on the in elementary school, on the during recess, people will bring out Crazy Bones. That's dead now. They'll bring out the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like that was a phase for a while. And then their Magic card I didn't touch, but then I give props to Magic for still being so strong with the Final Fantasy right now. And then what else? Yeah, you have like the Beanie Babies. Like I think that trend was gone. And then we got the cool Tamagotchi. Like when you had a Tamagotchi in school, you were the shit. Like you're like, oh, look at this new gadget, right? And then that came and go. And then basically everything that came and went. The principal, I remember still making the public announcement. Like after a week, when kids started bringing into the product to school, the principal, the morning PA will be like, now the Pokemon cards are banned. Now the Yu-Gi-Oh cards are banned. Now the Digimon's whatever is banned. Now blah 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 is banned. So everything got banned. But for some reason, the universe works in mysterious ways. Pokemon stuck by, and it's something that I didn't collect in high school and university. But then in my working life, I came across it, and then that triggered that click, made me want to reinvest and invest my time back into the hobby. Yeah, so that's the everlasting power of Pokemon in my opinion, and then it will continue to last for another, I'm confident it will last another 10, 20, 30 years. So when my son is a little bit older, he can start collecting, and then his friends will start collecting, and then there will be a lot of common topics, right? Yeah, and even if you guys are not dropping like, I don't know, like a down payment amount of money into the hobby, it's okay. Yeah, like there's always joy in talking about Pokemon. I will always be happy to have a 5-minute, 10-minute chat with somebody who likes to collect. It doesn't have to be like somebody my age. It can be, somebody younger, even somebody older. There's still a lot to learn and share amongst the hobby, right? So yeah, looking at the time, this video is already becoming a little bit longer than my normal videos. If you guys are still sticking around and you guys like this sort of, just like kind of like a face-to-face chat, please consider subscribing and liking. Then once we hit 1,000 subs, there'll be a lot more content coming your way. So yeah, I kind of digress back into my childhood story, yeah, but I still believe there's some value in talking about that. So continue on, the riskiest will be obviously the grails, the above $10,000 grails. Then as you move down, then you guys can think about, the promo boxes, like is that going to be a good play? And the promo cards that is coming out in Japan, where I'm at right now, I think it's very interesting, and it might be a precursor on what the Pokemon company is doing now, because think about it. Next year, we have 5 months to go before we step into 2026, 30th anniversary of Pokemon. They're starting to trickle the promo products now. So the McDonald's promo Pikachu and the Paldean starters, that is might be a precursor on what's to come. And then also the celebration of the 3 Pokemon centers that's just recently opened. The Tohoku Pokemon Center, the Hiroshima, and Fukuoka. Yeah, so those are getting people riled up, and it's exciting news. Yeah, so for collectors, it's a no-brainer. Try to add a few, like add 1 box at least to your personal collection. But for the investors, yeah, like I will monitor those closely to see how they're doing. Yeah, so and those are for me less risky, so I will put them at medium risk, because you're entering at about $150 to $250 for a box of those promo boxes, and the return on the PSA 10 slabs in a few years to come, if they pump, it's in the like you can 2x or 3x your money. Yeah, so I think for the risk. Cost and risk analysis, like it's worth entering for those products. Yeah, and then lastly, the less or the least risky and also the most boring investing play is still going to be just copying the ETBs and copying the booster boxes. Yeah, so we're talking about Mega Evolution, we're talking about maybe adding more Scarlet and Violet, Paldea Evolve, or Twilight Masquerade, and those kind of stuff. If you can find them discounted and a discounted price, still a good play in my opinion. Yeah, so in this video, yeah, so there you have it, just a very quick rundown on what I consider high risk, medium risk, and low risk. Yeah, but then I want to end this video with a very, very important message. Is I believe you need to start picking a side on what you are doing. Yeah, so what do I mean by that? look at the Chinese promo cards right now. The Gengar and Pikachu just drop. You know, the Pikachu lying down and then the Gengar is standing behind Pikachu. Very, very amazing art. Very, very sought after. I think the raw value of that card right now is $1,300 US. So in a PSA 10 form or CGC Pristine 10, it might, you know, just crack $2,500, $3,000. Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean and why I want to create this video today before I head out to lunch, is because things in Pokemon have gotten so darn expensive. So expensive now. You really got to be very strategic on what you guys buy and what you invest. Yeah, this is not a booster box. This is like 100 booster box that I'm holding in my hand. Well, should I say not 100, maybe 50. Yeah, I'm holding like 50 booster box in my hand. So how you are placing and dropping your money matters to you, because you don't want to put money in something that is going to lose value, right? And you want to put in something that will stand the test of time, at least for a couple of years, because when you need to get the money back out and re-roll it into something better, hopefully, aka trading up, you can do that, right? Because you're not getting yourself stuck into dead products, right? So yeah, pick a side. You know, like, do you guys want to go into the Chinese cards with this, you know, Chinese boom in the Pokemon hobby right now? Do you guys want to get into that, or do you guys want to stick to the, you know, the tested recipe, just ETBs and booster box and maybe some, you know, like Blooming Waters collection or whatever? Because I see in the US and in Australia, people have the storage capacity to put stuff, you know, like put stuff all the way to the ceiling and then just sit on it, right? That's the quote unquote boring way to invest. And then the lastly is like, you know, buy some PSA 10 grails or PSA 10 alternate art, and then see how the pump will you know lift. You know, it's like the waves, right? You know, like the tide. You know, like when the tide is high, then everything just goes up in value, and that's what kind of what we're seeing in the Pokemon hobby. But then the important thing is when the tide drops, you know, when there's a crash, you know, which items is going to, you know, still gonna, you know, be sought after and still do well. So yeah, that's the quick video coming up to 20-minute mark. Hope you guys are all doing well, and hope your portfolio is doing well. And when I return to Hong Kong, then back to the Poke Cave, I will create more videos. But for now, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and cannot wait to hit 1,000 subs. That'll be a very big personal milestone for me, and I appreciate all the support that you guys have given to the channel. So I'll talk to you guys soon, and yeah, I'm gonna hop out now, go to lunch, go to more car stores to check out, you know, what's available in Japan. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys are collecting, and what's your view on the market. I'll talk to you guys soon. See you in the next one. Bye bye.